Mr. Speaker, today we have an opportunity to put a stake in the ground and ensure our financial system remains the envy of the world by passing H.R. 4790, the Promoting Economic Growth Over Woke Policies Act. Under the Biden-Harris administration, agencies that have traditionally been viewed as independent have been hijacked to push through a partisan environmental, social, and governance, or ESG, agenda. Politically motivated, unelected bureaucrats are forcing these left-wing political priorities, which, by the way, Mr. Speaker, Democrats were unable to pass into law even when they had unified control of Congress, onto the American people through the financial regulation. In other words, rogue Democrat-appointed regulators are forcing companies to waste limited time and resources on ESG political mandates that have little or nothing to do with a firm's financial performance. These misguided ESG efforts don't benefit our banking system or our capital markets, or they certainly don't help the consumers, the workers, the job creators, everyday investors, or retirement savers. That's why House Republicans are fighting back with the Promoting Economic Growth Over Woke Policies Act. This bill is critical to combat the risks woke ESG initiatives pose on the American people and our financial system. It is a combination of 4 packages consisting of 20 different bills from the Financial Services Committee, including my Guardrail Act, Congressman Stiles' Protecting Retirement Savings from Politics Act, Congressman Norman's Business Over Activists Act, and Congressman Loudermilk's American First Act. I applaud my colleagues for their work and appreciate their partnership. I also commend Chairman McHenry for his steadfast leadership to ensure protecting Americans and our financial system from out-of-bounds ESG mandates being a key priority for Republicans on the Financial Services Committee. I want to underscore, Mr. Speaker, why H.R. 4790 is so desperately needed. Under the Biden-Harris administration, rogue regulators are weaponizing independent agencies to pursue the objectives of the political far left at the expense of our financial system and, more importantly, everyday investors. SEC Chair Gensler and progressive Democrats are abusing our securities laws, overstepping their statutory authority, and redefining the long-accepted, quote, materiality standard, to close quote, to accommodate the demands of a radical climate and social activists. The materiality standard, which has been a pillar of American securities laws for decades, requires public companies to disclose information that has substantial likelihood to influence the financial judgments of a reasonable investor. Those are the standards that have been accepted, I believe, since 1976. House Democrats have proposed legislation to require public companies to disclose non-material information, including all information related to climate impact and emissions, human capital, and quote-unquote equity, whatever that might be, none of which have a substantial impact on a given firm's financial performance. None of these proposals were enacted into law. More recently, Chair Gensler's rogue SEC has overstepped its authority by pursuing rulemakings to mandate similar non-material disclosures. This includes finalizing the disastrous climate disclosure rule earlier this year. Let me be clear. If this information is material to a business's financial performance and therefore affects the everyday investor, it is already required to be disclosed under the materiality standard. That's where my Guardrail Act, or a key pillar of this legislation we're considering today, comes in. It protects U.S. capital markets and the financial interests of everyday investors by rejecting this new, prescriptive, and expansive notion of materiality and by reining in SEC overreach. Specifically, the bill prevents rogue regulators from mandating the disclosure of non-material ESG information that would overwhelm, not inform, everyday investors, or also known as reasonable investors. At the same time, H.R. 4790 holds large asset managers and the proxy advisor duopoly of ISS and Glass Lewis accountable. These firms are abusing their outsized market influence to force left-wing political views on public companies rather than aligning their shareholder voting with the financial interests of investors and economic goals. The Promoting Economic Growth Over Woke Policies Act returns power to everyday investors and retirement savers from these unaccountable third parties. Additionally, the bill will require the SEC's shareholder proposal process to stop progressive activists from hijacking the proxy process to inject woke ESG initiatives into corporate boardrooms. Now, Mr. Chairman, it actually would stop all left, right, or center activist proposals from being introduced. And that's a good thing for everyone. This will allow executives and directors to focus on creating shareholder value, by the way, their legal responsibility, and benefiting retirement savers and bolstering economic growth. Finally, this bill will stop the alliance of left-wing activists, unaccountable global governance organizations, and politicized Biden-Harris regulators from weaponizing the U.S. banking regulatory framework to inject radical ESG initiatives into the detriment of consumers and American competitiveness. With the Promoting Economic Growth Over Woke Policies Act, House Republicans are taking action to protect the financial system, workers, job creators, and everyday investors from radical ESG initiatives that put left-wing political goals above American prosperity. I urge my colleagues to support H.R. 4790, and I reserve the balance of my time.